Welcome to Two Blondes and a Brokerage. And today we're going to continue to talk about interest rates because it's still a conversation. We're still having the questions about it. And Nettie made a good point because she had a client that locked today at 4.625, 4.5.
4.5 with APR 4.685.
And that was with no points.
No points.
Yeah, so I mean, that's an amazing rate. And I know it seems like to be a point higher than some of the lowest that we ever saw, but when I bought my townhome, my first house, which would have been 5 years ago-ish, I think. Yeah, almost 5 years. When I bought that house, my rate was 5.375.
Wow.
And so, like,
And there are people panicking right now with 4.5, 5 points.
Yeah.
And you were
5.375. And I actually never even refinanced it there were a lot of reasons, but I should have obviously refinanced it. But I kept it that way because it wasn't a big deal because when I moved out and I was renting it, it became my first investment property, the mortgage was still covered by the tenant. And so even though I lost money on cash flow, I was still able to cover the mortgage even with a higher interest rate because my tenants covered it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 4.5 I think is awesome. I would have loved to have had that when I bought my first house.
Well, think about 1st of June when the whole market took this flip, right? Yeah. And because the interest rates went up to almost 6%.
I locked my investment, and investment rates are always higher, just so you know. They're like half a point higher typically. But I locked my investment rate at 6.125.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, we hit 6.
That sounds huge compared to 4.5.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. Well, I just had some people call, okay, what is it today? And I'm like, well, it's 8 a.m. and I kind of just woke up, so I haven't quite checked.
Nettie, 8 a.m. and you're just waking up. What happened to your 5 a.m. workout?
It was a long night of volleyball the night before.
The truth is out.
But yeah, I mean, we do try and stay up on the market, absolutely, and we've got lenders that we love and we work with to help us out with that. And so please reach out at any point and we'll get you that information. But yeah, I'm thinking about my first investment with my daughter Bonnie. At the beginning of 2022, we got 3.75.
Yeah, I mean, that's wicked.
That is wicked. Yeah.
No, we're not going to see that probably ever again.
No.
And we don't necessarily want to see that because what that did to the market was like all these, these price hikes and the crazy appreciation. Yeah. And the frenzy, and so I don't necessarily want that. I mean, if we could stay at like around 4.5, that is awesome for buyers. I think that's a great rate, and not even like historically, you don't have to go back that far. Like what I said 5 years ago, my rate was almost a point higher than that, and so I think that's a great rate. Buyers should be excited. Inventory is back on the market, like we were just talking about with Emily. Now she's showing insane. When I go up to Fairplay, where you're showing 6 to 8 houses. And all have been on the market longer than a weekend. You're seeing pretty significant price reductions, like in the Denver metro area, it's around 6% on average to get under contract. And then, obviously luxury markets are a little bit different, or second home markets. But yeah, it's like, wow, this is nice. Even my brother is looking at purchasing a condo, and he's going up against one other offer that was under asking. So it's like, first-time buyers can finally compete.
Yes, and the rate is really good.
Yeah, I'm happy. Things have slowed down a little bit. This is like more of a normal experience, a normal market.
And this is really the time. I mean, really, August, September, a lot of kids are going back to school. So first-time home buyers, there's properties out there. The interest rate is totally reasonable.
Yep.
If for some weird reason during the recession of 2023, if we even go into that, it was to drop down to 3.5 or whatever.
Refinance.
Refi, yeah.
Yeah.
Save that money.
Yeah, that's true too. And what's funny is I was listening to the Ninja podcast today, and they were talking about how they don't love the phrase date the rate, marry the home. And I get why they're saying that, because their fear with people saying that is, oh, well, it could be construed as like, it's for sure interest rates are going to change to be more favorable, and they feel like maybe you're pushing a sale. But here's how I feel about it. It's like, so let's say you do date the rate or whatever, and you find the home and interest rates go up. Well, then you made the right decision. you know, and if interest rates go down, then you refinance. So to me, it's low risk from that perspective, but I think what they're saying is if you're getting it, and this is a good point, if you're getting into a home knowing that you can only afford it if rates drop and you can refinance, and you're counting on the refinance,
Can't count on
that's the problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they were getting at in the podcast too, is like, don't sell a home to someone contingent on the fact that they need to refinance that home when interest rates drop, because we don't know that they're going to drop. So anyone that's buying in today's market needs to buy at a comfort level with today's rates at a 30-year fixed and a price point that they can afford. You don't buy hoping, you know, that or knowing that you only can afford it if things change. You buy, and then if things change, great, and if they go up, great, because you are locked in at your rate.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's kind of what they were getting at, but I get that. Like, you never want to, don't force yourself out of your comfort zone in the hopes that things are going to change with the economy and rates will go down in 6 months.
Yeah.
That's not the right decision. But knowing that it could, you know, and if it does go down, great for you. And if it doesn't go down, great for you, because you're locked in at this rate.
And
it's
just
price.
using the 4.5.
Yeah.
That's a good rate. If it goes down, awesome. If it goes up, awesome, because
Yeah.
she's at 4.5.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's, you know, dating the rate may not be the right way to say it, but like having perspective about what this marketplace means for you, I think is a lot more important. And you always buy what you're comfortable with, what you can afford, not, you don't buy in the future, you buy now. And so I think it's just like, you know, it's important to know what that, because a couple $100 is what a point would be. You know,
gosh.
it could be significant,
Yes.
but you buy at today's rate at a comfort level that you're going to be comfortable with at today's rate, because that's what you're getting, really. So,
Sure.
yeah. Well, if you have any questions about rates or anything else we've talked about in this podcast, and don't forget to check out our Facebook pages, How to House Hack and Denver Down Payment Assistance. We are constantly on there. Every day we post new material, all original. All of us are posting on there, so there's a lot of great information for all sorts of buyers. So if you have any questions about that, or feel free to join us on the Facebook page, and we'd be happy to answer your questions there. Thank you.